Welcome back to Your World Today. Northern Iraq has been making headlines recently, of course, because of the trouble with Kurdish rebels at the Turkish border. But that is not the only thing happening in that area. The Kurdish economy is experiencing a boom unlike anything you might expect from a country embroiled in war. Still, as Nick Robertson reports from Erbil, not everything is going smoothly.
1,400 workers, 2 shifts a day. Iraq's newest international airport at Erbil in the Kurdish north will be ready by year's end.
This side and this side, passport control.
16 gates, 700 passengers an hour, and a runway capable of handling the biggest aircraft, including the new Airbus A380. Iraq's Kurds are thinking big, gearing up for a prosperous future in the relative safety of their region.
There is many companies and many workers done in Erbil and Kurdistan region, and about this we need big airport.
Officials say the airport's going to cost about $300 million. But the investment doesn't end there, they say. The city is going to have 6 5-star hotels. The government says that over the past year, a total of $5.5 billion has been committed in investments. Almost everywhere you look, Erbil appears to be booming. But beneath the surface, there are deep problems. For every multi-million-dollar contract, millions are being ripped off in corruption, rooted in clan-based patronage.
There are no official figures, and I think even if studies were made, it's very difficult to get these figures.
Osman, a British-educated Kurd, is the next generation of politician here. The Prime Minister of the Kurdish region has put him in charge of a new e-government department, a model of government that was successful in tackling corruption in Eastern Europe.
If you look at the example of Eastern Europe, after the fall of the Soviet, the most prosperous countries now are the countries that tackled it early on.
Right now, the stakes are high. The Kurdish region needs a lot of outside help building infrastructure. Schools, hospitals, highways, power stations, denied under Saddam Hussein.
Financial assistance to Kurdistan. But in addition to that, we need know-how and experience and technology.
If they get the help, and some is already arriving, the biggest prize will be cashing in on the even bigger market to the south.
We can be a platform for investment, not only for Kurdistan, but for the rest of Iraq.
It would be a remarkable reverse of centuries of history if the Kurds lead Iraq's economic revival. Shaking off decades of corruption is what stands in the way. Nick Robertson, CNN, Erbil, Iraq.
Well, there is clearly money in Erbil, but the Kurds have their eyes somewhere else, on a city that promises a lot more money and maybe the key to their dream of eventual independence. The problem is other Iraqis, even Turks, are determined to keep it from them. Jonathan Mann now with some insight.
Sure, it looks bad along the border. Turkish troops are being readied, the two governments are in high-level talks. But think of it this way. The PKK is a chronic, ongoing problem that doesn't fundamentally threaten Turkey or the new Iraq. Wait a few weeks, though, because Iraqi Kurds will be at the center of a real threat to Iraq itself, a potentially much bigger crisis. The focus is Kirkuk, a heavily Kurdish city that Saddam Hussein tried to tamper with. He pushed a lot of Kurds out and moved ethnic Arab Iraqis in. Now it's even more of a mix. 1 million people, primarily Kurds, but also Arabs, ethnic Turkmen, and Assyrian Christians as well. The Kurds say it is a Kurdish city, and it should be part of the largely autonomous region of Kurdistan just to the north in the vivid yellow. Right now, it sits just outside. No one could agree when they were writing Iraq's new constitution, though, so that's where things stand. Why does it matter so much? Well, think of the way Palestinians and Jews fight over Jerusalem, and then imagine Jerusalem with oil. Iraq's first major oil find was just outside Kirkuk 80 years ago, and there is still lots of oil there. If Iraqi Kurdistan gets Kirkuk and its oil money, the Kurds would be rich, financially independent of Iraq, and maybe entirely independent before long. The Constitution, unable to settle the issue, calls for a referendum by the 31st of December. The Kurds were hoping to have it earlier, and it's been delayed and delayed. Just about everyone else wants it delayed even more, or canceled outright. The Turks on the border are watching very nervously. Some Kurds believe Kirkuk is really why the Turks are there. So just wait and see what happens. Back to you.